Test.
Test.
Alright, chat. Thank you for being patient. So let's go ahead and get started. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be grading the Modern Warfare 2 weapons. Okay, I'm a teacher. So I'm going to give them a grade. It'll be a basic letter grading, A through F, and it'll be quick because there are a lot of Modern Warfare 2 weapons. Now, a couple things to take into consideration. Number one, all of the Modern Warfare 2 weapons are worse than any of the Modern Warfare 3 weapons. That's because they still have yet to tune them to Modern Warfare 3. In Modern Warfare 3, we've got a bigger health pool. Okay, you take less damage. So the Modern Warfare 2 weapons are still stuck in Modern Warfare because basically all they did was they just copied and pasted. They didn't retune any of the weapons. So this is just going to be how they stack on their own in Modern Warfare 3. Okay, and it's going to be just a basic letter grade A through F. Everybody knows what they mean. Alright, so we'll start with the ARs, because it's the first on the list, and we're going to start with the TAC 56. TAC 56 gets an A. It's a decent all-around weapon. It's not as good as, say, the MCW, but for a Modern Warfare 2 weapon, it still hits pretty hard. I leveled this thing up to max. It's really good. I really liked using it. It gets an A. It's a really good weapon. The M4. Now, the M4 may have dominated in Modern Warfare 2, but here in Modern Warfare 3, it gets a C. Rate of fire is not fantastic. Its damage is not fantastic. Its range is not fantastic. And its recoil control is meh. In this game, the M4 is mid. It's very mid. STB-556, this gets a B. And the only reason it's getting a B and not an A is because as is, it's kind of like you're shooting Q-tips. Not going to fib. This thing does not hit super hard, but it does get a B because one, its rate of fire is decent, and it's got an attachment that you can unlock that turns it into a one-tap machine. Basically, it turns this into a semi-auto weapon and gives it more powerful ammo. So you can one-tap people from the chest up with this gun once you unlock that attachment. I had a lot of fun using this weapon, so it gets a B. And the only reason it's getting a B and not an A is because you have to unlock the attachment to make it valid. The Cast-Off 7.62 is basically the AK. Everybody knows the AK. AKs have always been really good weapons. It's not as good as the Modern Warfare 3 counterpart, but it's still decent. Cast-Off 7.62 gets an A. The M13B. This weapon is going to get an A for me as well. When I used this thing, when I leveled it up, I had a build that was pure mobility, and all I did was I put an underbarrel grip that just helped with vertical recoil. This thing became a laser. It was a laser that I could run around the map at full speed with. It is insane. The M13B is really good. It's not going to be meta, but it's really good. It gets an A. The Chimera, Chimera's kind of hard. It's a for an AR, it's very, very fast. It's got a very high rate of fire. Its recoil control is just non-existent almost. But with the right build, you don't have to worry about recoil control. You can just run around, like, get in close quarters and just dominate people. It's silenced by default. And there's, like, you don't see the bullet. Like, with a lot of these guns, especially Modern Warfare 3 guns, like, as people shoot, you can see where the bullets are coming from. This gun doesn't do that. Still, I'm going to give it a B, though, because it does not hit hard, like, at all. The time to kill on this weapon is very high, unless you're playing hardcore. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a B. No. Yeah, I'm going to give it a B. Because all around, like, it's still a decent weapon, just not in Modern Warfare 3. I'm going to give it a B. The ISO Hemlock, this weapon is really good, actually. The only thing I'd say that's holding it back is its iron sights. They're really hard to use. A lot of people may be fine with them. I found them very difficult to use. I could not wait to get a sight on this thing. In fact, like it was so pain to use. I had to put it down. Um, I don't know. The ISO. I'm gonna give the ISO Hemlock a C. Um, if you're in hardcore, you could probably do really good with this thing. But for now, I'm gonna say it's a C. The Tempest Razorback. I'm gonna say this is another C. No, it's a B. It's definitely a B. And I'll tell you why. It hits really hard. Not really hard, but it hits decent. Its rate of fire is also really decent, and its accuracy is really good. Um, the only thing I'd say holding it back is it's very slow. Like like you definitely need to put mobility on this weapon, and by doing that, you're gonna sacrifice a lot of your recoil control. But in order to make it good, I mean that's what you got to do. But out the box, it's got all of that working for it. It's just that it's very slow. So for that, I'm gonna give the Razorback a B. The FR Advancer. This is Modern Warfare 2's version of the FAMAS. It's decent. It's quick. It's very accurate. It hits decently. Unfortunately, you still need a 3 burst to take down people in Modern Warfare 3. So for that, I'm gonna say this is a C. In Modern Warfare 2, it was really good. In Modern Warfare 3, though, it's not there. Not to mention the reduced mag size of 25 rounds, which for some reason they do to all of the 3-round bursters. Maybe it's a balancing thing, but they should have put it at 30. I mean, then you get 10 clean bursts, but it is what it is. The M13C. The M13C is actually really good. I'm gonna give it an A. It's very accurate. It's very quick. It hits decent. Like your mobility is actually pretty high, at least as far as AR goes, with this weapon. So I'm gonna give the M13C an A. It's a really good weapon. The TR-76 Geist. I'm gonna give this a C. It's basically the Razorback, but it's the one you get from Walmart. You know what I mean? It's okay. It doesn't hit nearly as hard as the Razorback. It's still got the mobility issues. Its rate of fire is meh. No, in fact, I'm gonna give this one a D. It's still an AR, so it handles like an AR, so it's got that going for it. And it's a bullpup, so the accuracy is decent. But it's just a worse version of the Razorback, so I'm gonna give it a D. The Lockman 556. This is the weapon that got repurposed into the Holger in Modern Warfare 3. The Lockman 556 basically became the Holger, and the Holger is just an all around better version of this weapon. It's not super fast firing. Um, it hits like an SMG. It doesn't hit like an AR. It's very slow. You move like you're stuck in molasses with this thing. But I mean, it's accurate. It's very accurate. Um, I don't know. I think I'm gonna give this one a D as well. It's just it's got too much holding it back. It's not even mid. It's below mid. So I'm gonna give this one a D. The M16, the classic. In this game, you can 2-burst people with this thing. It is dynamite. Plus, it's got the 30-round mag, which is beautiful for a burster. It's quick. It handles really well. It's accurate. It hits like a freaking truck. M16 gets an A. 100% M16 gets an A. The Cast-Off 74U, basically this game's version of the AK-74U. Well, one of them. They have like 3 versions of this weapon in this game for some reason. It's not as good as it's ever been. The 74U has always dominated the meta, especially in Black Ops. Like the 74U is always the best weapon. This one, however, it's not that great because of they put it into the AR category instead of the SMG category, which is what it should be. It moves really slowly. It's not very accurate for some reason. I think they saw the short barrel and they're like, oh, that wouldn't be accurate. That's not true. It's like they took an SMG and slotted 5.56 into the barrel and said, well, what would happen if you shoot that? Yeah. Up close, this thing's pretty good, but unless you get the jump on your enemy, you're not going to kill them with this thing. I'll give it a C because it does have that classic 74U look. Unlike the other versions, this one actually looks like an AK. So I'll give it a C for that, but everything else is just it's subpar. The Castall 556. This is actually a really good weapon. I'm going to give it A. The Castall 556 hits like a truck. It's got a decent fire rate. It's accurate as all get out. It does have mobility issues, but you don't have to completely modify the gun in order to get mobility out of it. Just run stockless. Just run the stockless mod. Throw on some like a grip that gives you ADS speed, and this thing's good to go. I'd say it could even potentially compete with the MCW. You know, if you start shooting first, which your ADS speed is going to help you with that. Um, it's not going to be entering the meta anytime soon, but it's still a really good gun. I give it an A. Alright, so that's all the ARs. So, Modern Warfare 2 battle rifles. We're going to start out with the Lockman 7.62. It's decent. It's not great. It's not bad, but it's not great. This is definitely an upgraded or an improved version from the AR. Like, it's definitely better. Um, if you shoot it in semi-auto, you can two-tap people. Um, but it's very slow. The reload time takes forever. It also has a big problem with accuracy. Like after you shoot, like or I should say when you shoot, like it bounces really bad. The gun kick on this thing is really bad. I'm gonna give this one a C. It's better than the AR version, but it's still not great. So this one's gonna get a D. No, let's give it a C. I'll give it a C. The Cronin Squall. This thing gets an A, and I'd give it an A plus. This weapon is dynamite. Got a decent rate of fire, super accurate, hits like a freaking truck. I mean, it is good. That gun looks sexy as all get out. Because it's bullpup, it's very accurate. Uh, I would like there are some issues with mobility, but the ADS time on this thing by default is really quick. So as long as you run, I would say like bone conducting headset, you'll hear people coming, and you can ADS a corner, and you won't have to worry about it. This thing can actually win gunfights. It is really good. Cronin Skull gets an A. FTAC Recon. It's actually not bad. It's not great. I'd give it a B. Rate of fire is pretty good. It hits like a truck. Only problem with this thing is it's got no range. Like anything beyond, I'd say maybe 20, 30 meters, you're going to be hitting like a noodle. But inside of that, you hit like a truck, and it's quick. It's snappy. This thing gets a B from me. The TAC V, another TAC. This is basically the Scar or the Scar H. Just an all-around really good gun. It doesn't have the fastest rate of fire, but it hits like a cement brick. This thing is like it does damage. I would even say if you get into a gunfight with somebody saying using the Bass P, you'd win that gunfight. This thing hits hard. Not a great rate of fire, not great mobility, but it's accurate. It's super accurate. So I would say the TAC V gets an A. TAC V is a really good gun. It's just a Scar H. It's really good. Lastly, we've got the SO14. This gun, it gets an F. I'm sorry. Like I've tried to use it. I even bought one of the blueprints for it, so I could get some really good attachments. It just is not. This thing is it's meant to be fired in. I'm gonna just put that out there. It's meant to be fired in single fire mode. Um, but it hits like a noodle. And when you do put it in semi-auto, I'm sorry, not semi-auto, fully auto, the recoil control is crazy. Like it bounces all over the place. The kick on this weapon is stupid. So this thing gets an F. It doesn't hit very hard. Its range is terrible, especially for being a battle rifle. Its range is terrible. It's slow as all get out, and it's not very accurate. The stats on the left say otherwise. No, you can't go by that. Okay, because again, these weapons, what you're seeing there, is the Modern Warfare 2 stats. That doesn't carry, the stats don't carry over to Modern Warfare 3. They what's the word I want to use here? They operate differently in Modern Warfare 3. They don't, you can't trust those stats. You have to you actually use them. Okay, we move on to the SMGs, my favorite class. All right, so the Lockman Shroud, a burst SMG that hits like a paper napkin. In Modern Warfare 2, it was really good. You could dominate the battlefield with this thing. It is very quick. Like its maneuverability is really good. Its recoil control, I mean, it's a burst weapon, so it's really good. Unfortunately, its rate of fire and its damage are just not, they're not good enough. Um, I'm going to give the Lockman Shroud a C. It's very middle of the pack when it comes to the MW3, MW2 weapons, but there's just nothing fantastic about it. And unless you get the drop on your enemy, you're not going to be getting any kills with it. It's just not good. The ISO 45, this one's actually really good. Its mobility is good, its accuracy is good, and its damage is good, and its rate of fire is really decent. Um, Actually, the rate of fire is really high. It's really good. Um, I'm gonna give the ISO 45 an A. ISO 45 is a really, really good gun, and because it's a 45 and not a 9mm, like I said, it hits hard. It's really good. ISO 9mm, basically the vector or one of the vectors of this game. Really high rate of fire. It's very quick. Its accuracy is not great, but if you get into close quarters with this thing, you can outgun even some Modern Warfare 3 weapons. The ISO 9mm is going to get another A. It's going to get an A. The P90 or the PDSW 528. It's the P. I don't know why they did that. It's the P90. You can look at this gun and tell it's the P90. Gets an A. Very mobile, really good rate of fire, really good accuracy. It's almost a laser. Really good damage. I have outgunned people using the Ram 9 with this thing. Um, Now I had to start shooting first, which is why you need ADS and sprint to fire time on this weapon. But if you got that, this thing is really good. It is really clean, and it's the P90. Of course, it gets an A. Come on. The Vel 46, or as it's better known, the MP7. Again, A. It's the MP7. Even in this game, it still performs really well. It's got a really high rate of fire. It's got great mobility, and it's accurate. It's very accurate. It's got a 40 round mag, so you don't have to worry about running out of ammo in the middle of a gunfight. It is just really, really good. MP7 gets an A. The Finnick 45, another Vector. This one gets a D. Not gonna lie, it's not great. Its accuracy is just not there. It's very hard to control this weapon unless you put on the right attachments. Its damage isn't great. It's very quick. It's very mobile, which is why it's a D and not an F. But that's pretty much all it's got. It's a quick weapon. Everything else is not good enough to do anything. In Modern Warfare 2, this was a good gun. Here though, it's not good enough. The Bass P SMG gets an A. It's basically the MP5. Okay, really high rate of fire, really good damage, very mobile, very accurate. This thing is a beast. 100% A. The Lockman Sub, another version of the MP7. Actually, this one would probably be the HK. It was the HK5, I think is what it is. But again, it's very accurate. It's very quick, very mobile. Damage isn't amazing on this one, but the rate of fire kind of makes up for that. So this one gets I'd still give it an A. It's still comparable, so I'd give it an A. The FSS Hurricane, I think they wanted to take an AR and turn it into an SMG, so they made it into like a chop shop P90. Because you can see it's got the P90 clip along the top, but it's got a magazine receiver on the bottom by the trigger. Um, yeah, it's okay in close quarters. Like it's got a really good rate of fire. Damage is decent in close quarters, but anything beyond 10 meters, the fall off is really bad. Like the damage fall off is really bad. Not to mention it suffers in accuracy because of its really high rate of fire. FS Hurricane, I don't know. I got to give it an F. It's just not great. I mean, if don't get me wrong, if you enjoy using this weapon and you can make it work for you, more power to you. But you need when you're using a weapon, any weapon, you need ranged options. And this gun, no matter what build you put on it, it just doesn't have it. So it's an F for the Shroud. The MX9 gets an A. It's a bullpup SMG. It hits really good. It's pretty mobile. Not as mobile as some other options, but it's pretty mobile. It's deadly accurate. Rate of fire is not great, but it's comparable. Like it's not as fast as say the MP5 or excuse me the Bass P or the Sub. I keep forgetting that's not what they are in this game. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't have the best rate of fire, but it's still decent, and it hits really hard. It's got a 25 round mag, which kind of holds it back. Um, yeah, we'll go ahead and give it a B. This is definitely a B weapon. It's good. It's just it's a couple things holding it back. Not to mention the range is kind of mid. Anything outside of 20 meters, you're gonna have bad damage fall off. So, yeah, I would say this is a B. The mini Bach. This is an A weapon. This is 100% an A weapon. Very quick, very mobile. Accuracy is not super great as like some of its other competitors, but it's not bad. It's got a huge magazine, so I mean, you almost never have to reload. You don't have to worry about running out of ammo in the middle of a gunfight. It's all around good. The mini Bach is really, really good. It's like the Russian version of the P90. Um, yeah, it's just I don't know what else to say. It's an A weapon. It's really, really good. If you haven't tried it, give it a shot. And the other version of the AK-74U, the Vaznek 9K, is basically the 74U with a metal uh, barrel shroud instead of a wooden one. It's not bad. I've used it a little bit. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. It's very middle of the road. It's definitely a C. It performs very mid. Like it's got comparable uh, um, stats and performance, but they don't exceed anything. It's very very middle of the road. So yeah, definitely a C, which is a shame because AK-74U has always been fun. Now everybody's gonna know this thing, the Lockwood 300. This thing dominated Modern Warfare 2. This thing would make people rage. Like anytime you got into a lobby and somebody's using one of these things, the rage was coming. Unfortunately, in this game, not so much. The super shotty variant of it, which I own, I'll prove it. See, I have the super shotgun. Um, that's really good, um, but you can't build that out of this weapon. I've tried; it just doesn't hit the same. Um, yeah, the default version of this gun is not great. I've unlocked all the attachments. I've tried every build I can think of on this gun. It just does not perform, and the reason is because of the increased health pool. This gun is tuned to do just the amount of damage needed to kill an enemy in Modern Warfare 2. So in Modern Warfare 3, it just even if you put on the double trigger, it's just not good. It's just not good. The Expedite 12, actually decent shotgun. I'm gonna give it a B. Um, and the only reason I'm giving it a B is because it doesn't have as good a range as some of the other shotguns in the same category. But if you put the explosive shells on this thing, and you can actually hit your shots, you can ADS and hit your shots, this thing can be a beast. So I'm going to give it a B. It's basically the SPOS 12, um, but it's pretty good. I'm going to give it a B. The Bryson 600, this is an A shotgun. You can do so many different builds with this gun, and it can one tap from range if you put on slugs with the extended barrel. And look, I think yeah, this is it. Is there a way to preview? Yeah. Like look at the size of that barrel. That barrel is available for this gun. It's huge. And if you put that barrel on with slugs, you can turn this thing into a sniper. If you put on a spread shot, like just regular shotgun shells, You get crazy range. Like you can one tap from a crazy amount of distance. This thing is really good. The Bryson 800 is definitely an A weapon. KV broadside, semi-auto shotgun. It's just really good. I'd give it an A, except for one thing. Its range is not great, and that's going to hold it back a little bit. So that is going to bring it down to a B. But other than that, the broadside's pretty good. It's got a very high rate of fire, not as high as like the Haymaker or the Riveter, but it's still pretty high. I've had moderate success with this gun. Um, I'm trying to think of any. Yeah, I mean, it's got a drum mag that you can slap on it. You can get a high mobility build going, and just decimate with this thing. It's really good. It needs a bit more range. There's no attachment you can put on it to give it more range, and that's a shame. But that's where it is. It's a B weapon. MX Guardian. This is an F weapon. 100% F weapon. It does not perform very well. Its rate of fire is not great. Its range is terrible. Its damage is just almost non-existent. It's just not good. No matter what type, I've put different types of ammo on it. I've put different attachments on it. I just cannot get it to perform well. This is definitely an F weapon. In hardcore, you'd probably do really good with it, but outside of that, no. The Bryson 890, it's a worse version of the Bryson 800. They put a clip mag on it, thinking, hey, this will be cool, but it's not. The range isn't as good as the Bryson 800. The rate of fire isn't as good. The mobility isn't as good. I mean, it's an all around worse version of the weapon. And not to mention it's like its pellet spread is just it's so wide it's crazy. You have to put a tighter pellet spread attachment on this thing in order to get any use out of it. So I'm gonna give the Bryson 890 a D. I think that's the best I can give it. All right, onto the LMGs. The second MG38, actually pretty good. Its rate of fire is pretty good, but it's not so high that like you can't control the weapon. It's still very controllable. Its range is crazy. This thing has really, really good range, and it just, as with all LMGs, it's going to be slow. So you kind of have to pick your positioning. But it performs decently. I'm gonna say it's a B, definitely a B. All right, the RAL MG. This is a C weapon. Rate of fire is not fantastic. Accuracy is not fantastic. It's got a reciprocating barrel system, which kind of hurts its damage a little bit. Like you can definitely lose gunfights using this gun. That being said, it's still a B. For some reason, this thing kind of slaps. Its range is crazy. Like it's got really really good range, and like I put this thing up like at range. I'd put this thing up against an ECW. Thinking hardcore wrestling, but anyway, no, I'd put this thing up against an MCW. It's pretty decent. The 5.56 Icarus. This is actually an A weapon. No, this is a B weapon. It's definitely a B weapon. It's for mobility is, in comparison to the other ones at least, is actually really good. It's fairly accurate. It doesn't hit as hard as some of the others. And its magazine or its box mag I should call it is smaller, but it still performs pretty well. I'd say the Icarus definitely gets a B. If it had a little bit better damage, I could see it being an A. But because it's by comparison at least, it doesn't have as good a damage as its counterparts. You got to drop it down to a B. The Rap H. This is a D weapon. This is 100% a D weapon. Its mobility, and again, we're just comparing it to other LMGs. Its mobility it lacks. You're very slow running with this thing. You got a smaller mag size, which, as I said, for the Icarus, it works for it, but on this, it doesn't. The damage isn't fantastic, the range isn't fantastic, and its recoil is horrible. Its recoil control is horrible. The Rampage is definitely an F weapon. The HCR56 actually pretty decent. It is ugly as all get out. It's actually pretty decent. I'm gonna give this one a B, and I'll explain why. The drum mag is a clip. It's not a box mag. It's a clip mag. So its reloading time is like super fast, comparable to other LMGs. It hits really hard. Its range is really good, and it is very, very accurate. The only thing that I'm gonna say keeps it in the B spot is it's slower than the other LNGs. Maybe not as slow as the RAP H, but it's still slower. So because of that, I'm gonna give the HCR 56 a B. The RPK, it's come on. Everybody knows the RPK. RPK gets an A. RPK has always been a really good gun. It's the AK LMG. I mean, and it's a classic, and it's pretty. Look at how pretty it is. RPK gets an A in the story. All right, moving on to marksman rifles. HBR 14. This thing gets an F. Like you literally have to four tap somebody to kill him, and his range is not great. And it's almost like it's a bolt action, but it's supposed to be a semi-auto. Like when you pull the trigger, you have to wait like a full second before it'll fire it again. It's not great. It's an F weapon. The SPR 208, 100% an A weapon. It's a bolt action marksman rifle that one taps. It's an A. This gets definitely you got to hit him in the head, but if you can hit your shots, this thing is a beast. Definitely gets an A. The Lockwood Mark II, I am a sucker for a lever action rifle. Not gonna lie. This is a C weapon, and I'll explain why. Mobility is great. Mobility on this weapon, at least in comparison to the other marksman rifles, is really good. But the range on this thing is not great. It's only effective up to like 20 meters. Beyond that, you better be hitting a headshot. But here's the problem with that: the bullet velocity is very, very slow. So anything outside of like 20 or 30 meters, you need to lead your shot because the bullet velocity on this thing is terrible. The damage range, which this part makes no sense to me, the damage range is not as good as the other marksman rifles. It's a lever action rifle. Have you never seen the cowboy movie? These things are notorious for their ability to snipe people. I don't get why they gutted this gun. It definitely needs reworking, and it could be an A weapon, but as of now, it's a B. No, in fact, no. I'd put it at C because of the fire rate. Because if you miss your shot, like if you're in close quarters and you miss your shot, like you don't hit him in the head, you're done. Like you're not getting off a second shot. And it's got a very small mag size. It's at only 6 rounds. You know, but it is what it is. Tempest Torrent is an F. I've used this gun a little bit. No, you literally have to like hit somebody 5 times to kill them. I remember in Modern Warfare 2, this weapon was really, really good, but in this game, it's not a good weapon. It's definitely an F. Slow mobility, terrible damage, fire rate's horrible. No. Oh my god, this this hurts me. This crossbow hurts me, and because I'm a knifer, and back in the day, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, Cold War, I was a crossbow guy. I loved using the crossbow. It was one of my favorite weapons. This version of the crossbow is so bad. And I've got it to max level. I've got all the attachments. I've tried every single build. It is still horrible. It is slow. The travel time on the bolts is slow. What else? You can't. It doesn't one tap unless you hit him in the face. It doesn't one tap. Um, the reload time is atrocious. It takes forever to get a reload off. No, it's just to me, it's not good. It's really not good. This is the worst version of the crossbow ever, and it's gonna hurt me to say this, but it's an F. Crossbow gets an F. LMS, this is a D weapon. Definitely a D weapon. I tried it once, was not impressed. It just takes too many shots to kill people. Small magazine, very slow. The range is decent, and I'll also say this: bullet trajectory or the bullet velocity, very quick. It's almost hit scan, but it's just that's all it has going for it. So I got to give it an F. LMS is not good. SAB-50, this is an A weapon. This definitely gets an A. It's a bolt action, hits like a truck, decent magazine size, fire rates. It's a bolt action, so it's got the same fire rate as bolt action. Um, but it's got a fire rate like the longbow. You know, it's quick, it's snappy. You can move with this thing, and it's accurate. Bullet velocity is really good as well. This thing gets an A. This is a really, really good weapon. The Tachyon is basically a semi-auto version of the Scar. It's an A weapon. It's really good. You can two tap people in the chest or one tap them in the head. This thing is really, really good. A weapon. All right, moving on to snipers. SPX-80, A weapon. This thing one shots from the chest up. It's a bolt action, but it rechambers pretty snappy. Um, your ADS speed is actually really good as well. Not to mention while you're scoped in, you can look left and right. Like it's not as slow. It's actually really good. This is an A weapon. It hits like a truck, decent fire rate, and very snappy. I like this sniper. The LA at 330, LAB. I said LA at. I don't know where that came from. The LAB 330, another really good sniper rifle. Unfortunately, it gets a B because you have to headshot to kill. Um, Other than that, well, yeah, yeah, you need to headshot to kill. I was thinking of something else. Forget that. But you need the headshot to kill. Like chest is just a hit marker, and it's not super quick. Like your mobility in this thing with this thing is kind of hindered. And I know people are gonna say, but it's a sniper rifle. Yeah, but there's other sniper rifles that you can move. You don't have to. You're not stuck in molasses. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's a pretty good gun. It's a pretty good sniper. It's not great, but it's not bad. This is definitely a C. Yeah, I was gonna give it an A, or I was gonna give it a B, but the gotta hit heads to one shot, slow mobility, slow fire rate, small mag. Yeah, this has to be a C. This is definitely a C. It's kind of meh. The Carrot 300 F. You have to three tap with this thing. Like even like anything outside of I want to say like maybe 70 meters. Um, it's not even a one tap to the head. It's a and this thing's supposed to be a sniper rifle. No, this is an F weapon. Fire rate's good. It's a semi-auto, so the fire rate's good, but that's it. It's definitely an F. This does not feel like a sniper. It feels like a Martian rifle. F. A plus plus plus. The FJX Imperium, ladies and gentlemen. This is basically the intervention. For those of us who played not the 2019 version, the original Modern Warfare 2, you know the intervention. The intervention is the gun that made quick scoping a thing, okay? And it was the babe. This is the intervention. It feels like it. It sounds like it. It moves like it. It tastes like it. Okay, don't come at me. It is beautiful. It's amazing. They got some like just pick this gun up and fire it, and get a headshot with it, and feel how clean that headshot feels. It's snappy. The ADS is fantastic. The range is great. It's a hit scan weapon. This thing is incredible. A plus weapon. Victus XMR. This is a B. The chest and above. Anything else is a hit marker, no matter your range, because it's got really good range. I have yet to see this thing have any real damage fall off. Um, you're kind of slow with it, but it's okay because it's not as slow as you feel like you would be. I mean, this is a massive rifle. You feel like you'd be slow as all get out, but you're not. It's pretty good. This weapon is pretty good. I'd give it it's a B. It's a 50 cal bolt action, so it gets a B. The Signal 50. The Signal 50 is weird. I want to give it an A because It's a one tap. It's got a quick reload. It's got a big mag. It's a 50 cal, but it's like a semi-auto, but a bolt action at the same time. I think the Signal 50 doesn't know what it wants to be. The only thing I'd say holding the Signal 50 back is the default scope. When you first start using it, it's like it's really hard to get used to, and the ADS time is terrible. And the damage starts to drop off after about 60, 70 meters. After that, you need it's a two tap to the chest, but inside of that, it's a one tap to the chest. So yeah, the Signal 50 is kind of hard to place. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give it a. I want to give it a B, but the damage drop off makes me want to give it a C, because it's a good sniper. Like inside of 60, 70 meters, it's a good sniper. But outside of that, it's not. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so let's do this. A sniper is supposed to go farther than 60, 70 meters, right? You're not supposed to have no real quote unquote damage drop off. As long as you hit your shot, it should one tap. So we'll give it a C because of that. That being said, still a very fun gun to use. I love using it. The MCPR 300, this is the current sniper meta in Warzone. It's an A, obviously. It's really good. You know, it's very snappy, very quick. It's got a large magazine size by default. It one taps from the stomach up. It's really good. This is a great sniper. Even for a Modern Warfare 2 weapon in Modern Warfare 3, it is still a great sniper. This thing is really good. MCPR 300 gets an A. Riot Shield gets an F. Riot Shield will always get an F. I am a knifer and I don't put a Riot Shield on my back. If you use a Riot Shield, go play Fortnite. Get off my game. Alright. Secondaries. The P890 is a really good handgun. Decent fire rate. Hits pretty decent. It's got a small magazine size, but you're firing 45 ammo. So it still hits pretty well. I give it an A. It's just a good handgun. Very accurate. Got some great attachments for it. It's an A. Alright, the 50GS. This is a semi-automatic version of the Desert Eagle. This one gets an A as well. If you can hit your shots, this thing can one-tap people. Even if you can't hit a headshot, if you aim for the chest, if you're close enough, this thing will still one-tap. Which is why you pull out your pistol, because you're in close quarters combat, or you don't have any ammo. You know, this is what you go to. I'd say it's an A. 50GS is really, really good. All right, the X12. X12, I'm going to get a C. It's not as accurate as, say, like the P890 or the Core or the Renetti even. It's got a large magazine size, which is great, but it doesn't hit hard at all. It hits kind of weak, and yeah, there's better options to go with. The X12 gets a C. The Basilisk, oof, this is the Magnum. This one's hard for me. There's a soft spot in my heart for Magnums. I love the way they look. I love the way they sound. That being said, the 50GS is better. You've got a bigger magazine size. You only get 5 rounds in the Basilisk. Reloading takes forever. Cause I mean, it is a revolver, yes, but still, you gotta consider the other options. The range is better on this than it is on the GS. Plus, you can put a scope on this. It's a B. It's a B. Yeah, the damage is comparable to like the 50GS. Like if you look, they're almost the same. The range is better on the 50GS, but this you can put a scope on, and it one taps to the head no matter the range, and it's almost hit scan. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a B. The small magazine size and the really high reload time is just gonna kill it for me. So it gets a B. F-Tac Siege. Okay, this gun is actually gonna get a, let's say, a B minus. Okay. Now a lot of people want to give this. Oh, it's. What are you talking about? It's an SMG pistol. It's a machine pistol. Yes, but you're shooting Q-tips. This thing doesn't like if you're in hardcore, this thing is great, but in core, the time to kill on this weapon is really high. Not to mention to deal with the recoil, you got to put some attachments on here. Plus, even though it's got a 32 round mag, you burn through that ammo like stupid fast. Like it's not a joke. Like you hold the trigger down for a second and your clip is empty. Okay, so yeah, it gets a B minus. It's good. There's just when you consider the other options, especially in the fully auto category, it's not that great. All right, the GS Magna, the fully auto version of the Desert Eagle. This one gets a C. Because it's fully auto, they heavily nerfed its damage. Not to mention its range. And the recoil on this thing is crazy. Um, so it's going to get a C. Like, if you can hit it, if you can hit the shots, you can get kills with this thing. It is possible. But you really need to learn recoil control in order to use this weapon. So it gets a C. A 9mm Damon. This is basically the John Wick pistol. Really good. It hits really well. High fire rate. Decent magazine size. This is, in my opinion, one of the best pistols in the game. The Renetti takes the top spot, definitely, but this is up there. 9mm Damon is a really, really good pistol. If you don't have it, unlock it and give it a try. It is really good. X13 Auto, this is basically the Glock fully auto. It's good. It's very, very accurate. The fire rate's decent. It's got a decent sized mag, which you don't burn through in a second. Yeah, it's just a really, really good fully auto pistol. Gets an A. This is an A weapon. All right, launchers. The Pila. This game's, or this is Modern Warfare 2's, like lock-on launcher. It's okay. It's a rocket launcher. There's not much to say about it. It gets a C. Um, like I know a lot of people are gonna want to use this thing to like try to get kills. But the only reason you'd put this thing in your pocket is to take down score streaks. But we have the Stormender now, so the Pila is kind of outdated. And the same time it takes for you to pull out the Pila, aim it, lock on, fire, and have the rocket actually connect with the score streak, the Stormender's already taken it out. It's already taken it down. Not to mention the Stormender, like say you're aiming at an Overwatch helicopter, the first missiles, the first rocket's gonna miss because the helicopter sends out its chaff, and you can't hit it. Stormender doesn't deal with that. Stormender doesn't have that problem. So yeah, actually, I'm not even gonna give it a C. I'm gonna give this an F. Probably one of the worst options when it comes to launchers. All right, the Joker. The Joker, I'm gonna give the Joker a B for one simple reason. Some of the trolls that you can do with this launcher are really good, especially on maps like Invasion, where you got people who are constantly camping in the embassy. Like you can just hang back and like target one of the little open areas in the embassy, and then fire this launcher, and then go somewhere else, and a rocket will come down exactly where you targeted. The Joker is very fun to use, but the time for the rocket to actually land is really, really high. So for that, I'm gonna give this a C. It's fun, but it still gets a C. RPG. The RPG-7. Everybody knows the RPG. This is an A weapon. There's no lock on. It's deadly accurate. In this game, unlike other games, in this game the rocket flies straight. You don't have to worry about leading the target or anything, or like not leading the target, like adjusting your aim because the rocket's gonna veer left or whatever. It's really good. The RPG-7 in this is really, really good. It's definitely A. The Strela, Strela. The Strela's damage is weak. You, it can one shot a UAV. but you ain't taking out anything else. Um, that being said, it's like the rocket it fires is super quick. So you don't have to worry about like locking on. You can it's like you can kind of hit scan with it, and because you don't have to worry about locking on, you don't like you can take out like a chopper. I don't know. I think I'm gonna give the Strela P a C. Strela P gets a C because you don't need to lock on. It's a super quick rocket, but the damage is just not as good as like say the RPG. So yeah, we're gonna give it a C. Okay, melee weaponry. Who's ready? This is my favorite class. So let's get started. Tonfa gets a B. It's super quick. It's in Warzone. This thing is amazing. But in Modern Warfare 3, where melee is actually prevalent, this thing is middle of the road. Um, it gets a B because of how fast you can go with it, and because like the actual time it takes to swing the weapon is lower than the karambit. So I'd say it gets a B, definitely a B. The combat knife. Combat knife is really good. It's not as good as say the karambit, but it's still really good. I'm gonna give it. I'll give it a B because of the range. Here's the thing about melee weapons: you need range. You need to have that lunge. Combat knife just doesn't have the same lunge. So because of that, I'm gonna give the combat knife a B. The dual Kodachis get an A. Sorry, I know there's people out there like, oh, but the dual Kodachis suck. They really don't. Yes, they're not as fast as like say some of the other melee weapons. As you can see, the mobility suffers here. Not only that, but the range, not the range, excuse me. Uh, the handling is lower, and what I mean by that is like the lock on. And when you run around with a melee weapon, you get really strong aim assist. Not with these. You got to be able to actually turn your camera and hit your target. But because of how fun they are to use, they get an A. And it's not only that. You don't have to be right on the target. Like with the combat knife, with the tonfa, even with the karambit, like you got to be right on them. With the dual Kodachis, you don't have to be right on them. You can be about a foot away and you'll still hit. So because of the range that they have, I'm giving the dual Kodachis an A. Commas, same story. Commas have even more range than the Kodachis. Not as much as like the Soul Render, but yeah, the dual commas get an A, 100%. Plus, they're dual size. They look really cool. Running around with these things is an amazing feeling. Like, especially if you use this variant here. Oh, it's amazing. Pickaxe is going to get a C. I'll explain why. Your mobility with the pickaxe is slower than with any other weapon. Even if you use the Doom chainsaw variant, and the chainsaw variant makes noise, which is something you don't want in a melee weapon. You don't want people to hear you coming because you're trying to get close to them. It's got okay range, like the lunge on it's pretty decent, but there's almost no lock on. Like you have to be able to turn and hit your shots, and it's even worse with these than it is with the dual Kodachis. Like the lock on with the pickaxe is non-existent. So because of that, I'm gonna give it a C. And that's it. That's all the Modern Warfare 3 weapons graded and rated. What do you think, chat?